Morning. Ooh, sweet. Do, 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 do. Hit the thumbs up button. Wah, 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 wah. Morning, Nevin. We're going to have a slow morning here. I know. I have not humped today. My dogs have, but I have not humped today. Not yet. Wow, you know what? God, Nevin, just look. It's probably like 3 people in here right now. But what I want to point out is what you're seeing on the screen. I think you're seeing it on the screen. This Tesla. This is my algorithm for Tesla. And Tesla, it goes for 2 years, 24.2 months. You make 101.9% with 25 positions. You only win 24% of the time. So 1 in 4. Mickey. Mikil? I don't even know what that is. But you only win 1 in 4 times. But it makes you 101% over 24.2 months. So here's the point about my algorithm. If you can pick this out, good stocks with good products, good companies, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to put this TSM 100, NVIDIA under 400. God, the algorithm just does its work for you. Now, alternatively, a company like Devon, which just doesn't move a lot, and it keeps you out of a lot of the moves, or it gets you into quote-unquote bad moves. This one, you lose 34% versus if you bought and held 24 months ago, you would have made 67%. So it really, the algorithm really kind of points to you got to be in good stocks. And you know what the algorithm is based on? It's just Apple. I mean, you make 43% on Apple if you trade it over 2 years. 24 positions. You win 9.85% of the time. But it keeps you in on these long runs. Here, let's look at Devon. Let's see why Devon is down in the algorithm. The reason is, and take a look at the weekly chart. 2 years would bring you back to 2021. It would bring you back here. So back here around 28, it would bring you in. But see, it probably doesn't keep you in. It gets you in later. It gets you out. This one just had that complete run-up. It probably had you in almost this entire run-up. But it kept getting you in for losses through these kind of things. And it's come down. Versus if we go and look at Apple, and you look at a weekly on Apple, we'll look at weekly on Tesla too, since it's just continually going up. I mean, yeah, you had this pullback, but it kept you out of a large number of this 2021 pullback, 2022 pullback. I'm sorry. Let's look at Tesla, since Tesla was such a big winner. You'll see Tesla on a weekly. It kept you out of this long downturn, and it gets you back in on the upturn. So the algorithm likes volatility. Oh, my dog's crying. Hold on 1 second. Come here. Come on. Come on. Hey, she's not under there. There you go. You can go right in there. Penny's quiet. Penny's quiet. Good girl. I love you. It's important to tell your dogs that you love them 30 times an hour. Target's holding up. God. I'm looking at the core portfolio. Boeing, which I said get out of, it's held up. I think it hasn't gotten you back in, but it did get you out. I think I said get out around here, but hopefully you can get back in if you did get out. I just didn't think it was worth the risk. Boy, it keeps telling me to. I'm gonna turn on. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna turn on Do Not Disturb, just so you're aware, because just in case the vet calls or somebody calls. Look at that heat map, man. How do I keep this from like moving over at 9 o'clock? I guess I can share map. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see if it. Okay, perfect. Okay. I want to show how you kind of look at this and can look at what's moving during the day and things. Let's see, any insiders? Lucid. I should bring this up. Saudis bought $1.8 billion worth of stock. I mean, yeah. $1.8 billion they put into Lucid. Which in my mind, target price $8.33. It's trading at $6.10. I would trade this on the 50. Yeah, look, I mean, Public Investment Fund put in $85 million. I'm sorry, $914 million. $1 billion. They just put in almost $2 billion additional. So they have plenty of cash on hand. Cash $1.40. They have $1.83 billion. So they have about $1.83 billion. They're losing. They're losing a bunch. Don't use. Okay, we'll bring that up. Major news. DraftKings is up in pre-market. Let's look at DraftKings on the algo. And then we'll start doing some scans. Just got you in 25. I don't think that this is worth $25. I just don't. 11.74 billion. Average target price is $28.71. You're trading at $27. Upgrade May 22nd to $30. Insiders. I mean, and it's no small boy stuff. Look at the value. I mean, it's absolutely no small boy where they're selling at $20. See remarks. these are, you know, yeah. I mean, that's why would I mean, other than an electronic bookie, I just don't see innovation in these guys. So I do not gamble with them. I have a European website that I gamble with. So I can, you know what? Let's start scans. I'm going to bring up the Great 8. The Great 8. I will also bring up if you're just tuning in, I'd like you to comment on if you invested $1,000 into Tesla's IPO back in God, when was it? I just have the note that the IPO, let me see. When did Tesla IPO? June 29th. I'm going to put that in. On June 29th, 2010. Yeah. Tell me what $1,000 is worth today. ENFN. What the hell is ENFN? ENFN. Infusion Technology Software. Kind of a small company. 1.29 billion. PE is enormous, but they're supposed to grow into it with that forward PE. It's up 15%. Target price is 11.08. It's trading at 11.19. Initiated coverage. I mean, the smart people who know about this are saying it's worth $11 and $12, and that's where it's trading. And it's up 15% year to date. I'm seeing sales here at 9 and 8. Not huge money. This sale would worry me right here, where somebody got out of $31 million. A 10% owner, two 10% owners basically sold. And another 10. Look at this. Tarek sold 12.1. Then he sold 20 million at 10 and at 12. I think you're range bound there. That would be my guess. Let's look at the chart. And Nevin, I don't know where you found this one, but it looks like it's a pop. Let's look at some of the. Is there news? Okay, let's see. ENFN closed the most recent trading at 11.19, moving 1.36. Coming in today, she had gained 40% in the past month. Near's earnings release. In that report, analysts expect Fusion to post earnings of 5 cents per share. This would mark year-over-year of 25%, which is good but not great. And if they do, if Zach's estimate is right, they're only up 22%. That might make them fall. The internet is part of the computer and technology. It doesn't tell me. It just tells me about earnings. That's it. Takeover interest from private equity by Francisco Partners. The company has experienced turbulence in the top markets with its chief executive officer and CFO resigning in just the past months. So, here, Nevin, here's what it is. This run up in the stock that you see for the past few days, look at that. That June 26th morning candle. Low is $9.03. High is $11.42. That's a freaking monster move. It's because there's rumors that private equity is coming in with an offer. Outside of that, you have absolutely zero interest in this company. Now, do you think it's coming up here to 13? Do you think it's coming up here with 14? And then if private equity doesn't like it, I don't see any reason to get into this one. I mean, if they're only growing by 25% and it's already run up 40%, why would I get into that? Yeah, Zephan, I have Schwab in my notes, and I think it's I mean, it's just capitulating here. And I know I said under 50, and the people that got in under 50, including me, a very small position. We are talking like almost $1,000. Not much for me at all. And then I forgot about it. And all of a sudden, we're up at 55. There's the 10% move right there from 48 there. I don't know that you get back to this gap. That's what was worrying me. That gap right there was worrying me. But that's on the 4 hour. The daily does not have a gap. And that's typically what algorithms and stuff look at is the daily. I don't think that one's a real issue. Now, Schwab, I do think is a good one, and I'll bring it up in the podcast a little bit more. Oxy, on the other hand, I do own, $30,000 worth of Oxy. And Zephan, you have the algorithm, so you know this. Brendan, you're awesome. I just got a tip. Brendan's great. Penny says, thank you. I will give an update on Penny. And I will, here. Let me go and look at, we're going to do Big Cam. We're going to do Big Cam, and we're going to show you. Oh, come on. That was my girls last night when Daisy walked over and wanted to get her eyes licked. Here. We're going to have to turn up there we go. I probably should turn on Do Not Disturb so that nobody texts me. Oh, how do I bring that in? There's my girls. So, they were looking last night, around there. And that's Miss Penny this morning. She is better. I will go into more on the podcast, but she is better. She's doing well. But she's doing better. So here's Oxy. And yeah, Zephan, I do kind of agree with you. Let me go small boy again. In fact, I have to hold on 1 second. Let me just get Active Trader Pro up on the thing. Oxy. No, I don't want it. I want Active Trader Pro. Where is it? There it is. Boom. And boom, 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 boom. Okay. So, and Brandon, I hope you got out of TSLQ. I posted yesterday. I got stopped out of TSLQ. Full disclosure, I did stop losses yesterday afternoon when I saw it running up and I saw it running down. I put stop losses. My stop loss was too low. In fact, let's go over here. I'll show you. Here's TSLQ. And so my stop loss was around 34.50. And it was, I got stopped out right around here, midday, around like 1 or 2 o'clock. And part of the reason was, I was dealing with Penny and I was dealing with some issues yesterday. So I didn't want to lose my profits. I bought in at 33.70. So I wound up getting my profits. It wasn't as much as I wanted. But I got in. I mean, that I got out with profits. I didn't, part of the reason of playing these triple levered ETFs is you can always buy back in. Even if you lose money and you're in a watershed, you can always buy back in. You just don't take, the watershed. And in TrendSpider, if you guys are members of TrendSpider, I have other ETFs that you can play. So say you do TQQQ. Let's look at the levered ETF list. It's up here on the right. And say you do, let's say today you're in SQQQ. Or I'm sorry, you do TQQQ and you wind up losing money. And you say, hey, I'm going to get out with a loss. Although TQQQ, man, I mean, it still got you in from this 27. Let's be honest. If you got in April at 27 and you're in on this algorithm, my ass better be getting a big tip because, I didn't go small boy well, did I go small boy? I think I bought 100 shares. I think it was only $3,000. So it probably was small boy. But I make $100, $200 or something. I think it was low hundreds. So it wasn't much of a percentage gain, but I stop lossed out of it. But you could play these other ETFs, triple levered ETFs and stuff if you wanted to, like TSLA. This is a technology bull. It got you out yesterday, 36% gain. It's going to cross up again if we continue in this route. Right now, there is no volume level support in this range. You're coming back down to 36. I mean, that's where these volume shelves need to build out for me to even think about this one. But it got you out. So are we going to get back in? Probably. Yeah, Brandon, I'm so lost on options that I don't even worry about it. But let's look at Oxy. I think I got started on that one and I kind of got distracted. Oxy for Zephyr. I own Oxy. In fact, I think it's like $30,000 or $40,000 I have in Oxy right now. I'm enjoying the dividend. It's under 60 that I have the average share price. I think it was over 60, but this route over here, it's got confirmation now. It's a buy. At 57.13, it's a buy. I like to think this is the bottom. The problem that you have, let me see. Oil. There's the refineries. We'll look at UCO. It's an ultra levered. So it's 3 times levered oil. We'll look at the long term. That's the problem you have with Oxy. Is you see here from June of last year where we were trading at $120 a barrel. This is the problem that you have. And you're still below this bottom wedge. So while I don't suggest that you look at a weekly on UCO, it's a good way of looking at the price of oil and how we've continued to slide. Pre-pandemic, this was $104 stock. Yeah, I just had Brandon. I just had a subscriber ask me. He was in Robinhood, and he kind of shot me an email and said, "Hey, you always bash on Robinhood. Where should I be?" I need to start pointing people towards Webull so I can get something out of it. Fidelity, you can get $100 if you just send me your email address. But he, I pointed him towards Fidelity because I said the way Robinhood makes money is that they basically price things above where the market does by pennies. It's not an enormous amount, but it's pennies. Bitcoin, I think it's dollars more than pennies. But they price it above. And that's how they get away with free trading, is they scalp it. So Buffett here's what you do, Zephan. If you want to know where Buffett's buying at, go over to FinViz and go to Oxy and just scroll down. Look, he's buying at 59. This is June 29th of last year when he started to enter. 59. He's continued to add under 60. So that's why I say, hey, under 60, it's probably a good buy. I don't think that we've seen the bottom in Oxy. And the reason I don't think that we've seen the bottom in Oxy is because energy's just, let's take a look at long term in Oxy, because the price has run up. If you take a look at a weekly on Oxy, it hasn't been as bad as oil. Pre-pandemic, this was a $45 stock. So you can see the 200-day on the weekly is just starting to go up. You've got, we'll pull it right before, this is January 2020. Say that 10 times. January 2020. And that's where the volume shelf is. Take a look at the volume shelves here. You still have a large majority that are down here at 11. And this is just getting a volume shelf here between 57 and 60. So I think that's a pretty good indication that, hey, we're putting in some capitulation here at about 55 to 60. I need to add more. I'm just under 60. I don't mind holding. It's got a 1.26% dividend, but they have announced fairly large buybacks. And I do think Buffett, if you want to talk about a good gauge of management, Buffett knows his managers. Buffett believes in the management of this company. He's talked about it many times. I think it's a hedge on some of his other companies where maybe his Berkshire Hathaway companies get a discount in their energy prices from Oxy. I like it. And here's the one that I really honestly, I did a video about it yesterday. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube. Because one of my friends texted me and said, hey, I want to buy Exxon. Should I buy Exxon? And so I said, I don't know that I'd necessarily buy Exxon, but here's the energy trade, Exxon or PXD. And it's a 3-minute long video. I'm trying to do this short form stuff for people who maybe don't want to listen to a half-hour podcast for all of the stocks, and they just want certain things. So PXD under 200, their ex-dividend date, they paid it out. Their next earnings is August 1st. If we stay at $70, and let's look at Seeking Alpha, because I think Seeking Alpha has the expected dividend for Oxy. I think that's let's do PXD. The expected dividend, let's see, dividends. Dividend yield, they're expecting it to go down. This is the forward, an aggregate of the analyst estimates. I don't believe that you get this going down to $5. I just don't believe it. Let's look at PXD dividend history. Bum, 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 bum. Here you go. This is the dividend history. So on 5/3, they paid out $2.09. On 3/3, they paid out $1.10. On 11/29, they paid out $4.61. So that 2022, where they paid $3.75 and a $3 special dividend, and then they paid a $6.60 and a $7.38 dividend, and they paid a $7.47 and $1.10, And then 2022, they paid $4.61. Then in March, they paid $1.10. And this was a record date. This was announced effective 5/31. So the record date was 6/1. But dividend yield is 4.1% PXD. I just think you have a better option for dividends in PXD. And the other reason I think PXD has a good one is I thought we got almost 11% on the last one. Let's see. It's still yielding 11.62% on the annual. Morning, Scott. I think you can do, Brian, I think on Webull, I think you can get out of that dark mode. I thought you could get out of that dark mode. Let me see. Menu, settings, general. Maybe not. Theme. Yeah, you can do bright. Go into settings and then theme. And you can do bright. Bright, dark, or black. On Webull. Don't bash my Webull, man. And I continue. I think Robinhood has done amazing things. Yeah. The Gap Snake is awesome. The Gap Snake really is good. But okay, let's do scans. I love goofing around, but I gotta. My girl needs attention, Miss Penny. Ooh, look at this MPLX. We got, and Devin, I will go over Oxy on the podcast. And Exxon. I mean, energy trade yesterday was fairly decent. It wasn't horrible. Roblox at 41. Did you get into Roblox under 40? Simon Property Group. Costco with a cross up at $530. Hoo-wee. Let's see. Energy, Fang had a cross up. Is it another cross up or it's just from yesterday? I think it's just from yesterday. I'll keep that one in there. Levered ETFs, nothing on levered ETFs. Wow. Nothing on Vanguard. Spider sectors. XLP. This is consumer staples. That one's been beaten down. So, let's maybe I'll talk about that when we go through scans. Let me just text my neighbor back real quick. Yep. Yeah, Powell is talking at this morning. I think it's at 9 a.m. I think he actually started. We've got some sick pets in the neighborhood, so I'll talk about XLP, how to look at. Let me look at the stocks that I don't own. PFF. Man, I have used PFF over the years to get a great dividend. Lowe's has a cross-up, but that's a secondary cross-up. Oh, our girl Sedge. Is crossing up. Lam Research, which is down, just too high. Hilton, a hotel that's under its 200-day. I'm not a big fan. AMAT, AEO, American Eagle Outfitters. I got out of that one. Delta Airlines at 46, too high. Just too high. Okay. Dude, man, Zebra Technologies. This one's an interesting one because it. Solon Amaran Group. That's a falling knife. Jeppy with a cross up. That's an interesting one, Jeppy. I should probably, you know what? Let's look at JEPQ. I need to start that. Okay. Start the high dividend call options list on TrendSpider. Okay, I'm going to start that too. No. I didn't see that. Let's see. ARK funds, spot, Bitcoin. Let's see. Cointelegraph. She'll basically start an ARKB is what I would think. I just don't think. Here's my thoughts on this. I'd be slightly concerned about her comments about Gensler. I mean, let's be honest. You know, there's political play here, so. John, legend. Is NV? That's the long one though. NVDL is down by 5%. NVDS is the short one. And MSF S, I think, is the short one. Yeah, this is up 4%. MSFD, those are the bulls. NVDL and MSFU are the bull ones, but the Wall Street Journal reported that they will stop shipments. So MSF D would be the bear one. Oh. Hey, listen, I don't think you're wrong. I think NVIDIA here at 404, I think it's a gift as well. I think you wait for the day to play out a little bit, but I think you're 100% right. This gap in NVIDIA, Brandon, if this is what you're talking about with that gap, I don't expect it to be hit. Just like if you go NVDS, I don't expect this one to get filled. I absolutely do not expect that to get filled. I think this provides NVDS. This provides resistance level at 1061 because I think NVIDIA just continues to go up. I think even if you stop some shipments of some stuff, I think this one continues to go up. You want to talk about on the core portfolio what's done really well on a pullback kind of, look at this. This is Qualcomm. In fact, I got to pull this a little bit forward. I'm going to pull this right here. It's right on its volume. Sitting right at 116. And pre-market, it's at 117. You get this at 116, I think you go up here to 124 again. So that's my take on it. I think chip stocks are fine. Okay, let's continue the scan. Not owned. We're going to go down to ARC. I'll look at this, but I don't know that I want anything in ARC that is moving right now. No, I don't like that. Let's go Dow. Honeywell. It's a little extended for me. I'd buy that one under 200. It'll be back under 200. Let's look at the NASDAQ, which had a ton of cross-ups, I'm sure, at almost 2% yesterday. Fuck, that one went up. XEL. An energy company that's just been beaten down. I don't like that one. I'll put it in here. LCID. AMAT. Fortinet. CMCSA, Comcast. Baker Hughes, I don't like. Lam Research. God, this has just been a monster. I mean, look at this long-term one. Look at that. I mean, God. If you bought this back in October 2022 at $330, whew, I mean, it's the same as all the chip companies. Yeah, the gap on NVDS, I would be salivating over it as well, Brandon. But again, remember, it's a short of NVIDIA. There's probably 3 or 4 companies I wouldn't short. The first is Tesla. And I know we made out on that one and we did well. The second is NVIDIA, just because I think it's just news driven. And I think that's hard to short when a company is news driven like that. But again, don't listen to a douche on the internet. I think, but by the way, for Lowe's, did I include Lowe's? We'll put Lowe's in there. For YouTube, I may start some T-shirts and stuff. Oh, Lilly crossed up. But man, Lilly has just been, you want to see a stock. Look at this one. I mean, this is weekly. And just imagine 2020, getting this at 138 to, God, oof. EMR, Emerson Electric, XOM, I've got up there. AT&T. Could we start to see AT&T and Verizon actually start to come back? Schwab. Yeah, we have to put that in too. I don't like Dow Chemicals. Dow Inc. Okay, I'm going to start the podcast here. We're going to start with SPY. Let's take a look at SPY and let's go over to strategy tester and 4 hour. Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, it's on that weight loss kind of stuff. Yeah, let's look at it. Remember how I used to go over the weekly on SPY and say, hey, we were in this downward wedge and I don't know where we're at. It's clearly an upward and onward. My guess is that 460 in SPY is the next kind of point to top. We're starting to see a little rollover, but it's the most hated bull market since 2009. I mean, yeah. Let's take you back to the last hated bull market. Can I get there here? No, I have to go monthly. Let's take you back to the last most hated bull market. And let's see where we were at and where they said we were extremely extended. Oh, at SPY at 122. Oh, yeah. In 2010, 2009 was too good. We're still not recovered from the housing crisis. Oh, my God. You can't. We're not going to get back to the highs. It's going to take years. GM just got bailed out. The auto workers are in having problems. Yeah. Well, where'd we go from 2010? We went from 111, 110, up to 133. Pretty good. Yeah. And the most hated bull run. I'll tell them what the bonus would be. I'm getting texts. So yeah, this was the most hated bull run in history until we got to 2012, and then it was off to the races. And then you had low cost, boom, the economy's booming all the way to 2014, and then we kind of took a little dip. Kind of break, holiday, boom, boom, boom. You were off until we started raising interest rates in September. This is what you're looking at right now. I think this little pull right here is where you're starting. And AI is going to pull us up to 500 on SPY. I just see it. Let's look at Love. What's Love? That's Southwest Airlines. I know that, but is it printing? Let's see. Wow. Kudos. I wouldn't have the Love. I mean, this is textbook. Look at the gap between 34 and 35. Textbook. You hold on long enough, it's almost got that golden cross. The last time it had a golden cross, it crossed down and then it crossed right. But let's look at the last time it had a significant golden cross. Where it was down. Yeah, here you go. It had that golden cross. And then right at the golden cross, looks like a few days later, it's the peak. So Brandon, if you're hitting on Love, I would say your top point is probably going to be around between 36 and 37. I don't think you're having a $40 stock on this. Even though they're booking like crazy, there's going to be another round of, hey, we got delayed. Hey, our software broke down. Go and talk to a Southwest employee. Go and talk to either a flight attendant or a pilot. Go and talk to them. Find out what they think. Because the next little iteration of, oh my God, we have a problem. And all of a sudden, Southwest is down. So, let's see. Indices check. I'm going to check on my thing, on my account. And Rollins, if you're here listening, speak up. Speak up, Rollins. I'm down to start the day. 0.11. So. Whew. Okay, let's start this mofo. We're going to start on SPY. And let me get my notes together. Okay, let's see. I got a lot of notes. Penny update. 2 videos that I posted yesterday. Got out of TSLQ, Tesla stock, great 8. Chip stocks. Sherry's MPW. By the way, if Sherry's here, she got into MPW. I'll talk about that one. Is it NVO? No. This is not NVO. Vornado, I think it was. VNO. Yeah. Let me do this. Let me see. Screener. I want to see. I'm going to do all. I want to see if I can find REITs. Let me see. How to... stop. How to find REITs on FinViz. Use the associated drop-down menu to... Huh. Hey, you want to find REITs? I'm going to put this in the newsletter. Let me see. There we go. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to SPY. Going to start with SPY. Larry! Air's bad in Cleveland, I heard, because of those fires. Amazon continues to roll, by the way. It's below 130 yesterday was the place to buy. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Bye, Felicia. Felicia asked me to look at Cintas and Grenier. Let's move this down to here. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, we're going to do the podcast now. Move there, move there. Good morning. Happy hump day, as folks on YouTube kind of said. Let's start with a Penny update. Penny is good. Penny may have a back injury. For anybody that's had a dog with a back injury, the back injury is where the dogs have the wheelchairs. That's the extreme where they can't kind of quote unquote fix it. But Penny is doing better. She is still in pain, still a little lethargic. We've got her on muscle relaxers. I will know more in the next 3 days. They send out the x-rays to experts, to a panel of experts. And yeah, let's just say your boy could use some tips. Dogs ain't cheap. And if she has to have back surgery, I had a dog back in 2012, 2011, somewhere in that neighborhood, who had 2 back surgeries. And that's a nice $20,000. So Don't have pet insurance. Don't believe in pet insurance. Probably would have come in handy had I known about this, but she is in her crate. She is eating well. I thank you guys for all the kind words you've sent, the good vibes that you've sent, everything. Penny says thank you, even though she would bite your ankles if you walked into my house. She's an awesome dog. Oh, and the doctor called me yesterday, and she was like, oh my God, this is the sweetest dog. I said, that's because she's hurt. I said, she is the sweetest little thing when she's hurt. I said, when she's hyper, she will bite your ankles. She will get angry. She will go and chase. She will chase you around the house like she owns the house. But, well, let's be honest, she does. I did 2 videos yesterday, and I'm doing short form videos. And I did 2 videos. I bought Palantir yesterday, and I bought Palantir at, I forget what price, but let me just see how Palantir is trading right now. Palantir is at 1465. I think I actually bought at 1470. If I'm right. So I might be down on that one. I bought at a fairly good price, I thought, but 1470, maybe that was the one that I bought. It did run up yesterday. It went all the way from 1410 all the way up almost to 15. And then in pre-market, it just dropped down. It's at 1470 right now, but you can look at this video. Oh, I bought it at 1430. That's where I bought it. So it's at 1470 right now. I also had a friend ask me yesterday, should I buy Exxon? And I did a video, Exxon or PXD. And so you can look at, by the way, I noticed this too. If you want to look at PXD, I know I say 11% dividend. Look at PXD, the forward dividend, the expected dividend is 2.5%. So when I say 11%, that means the trailing 12 months. And the trailing 12 months of dividends goes back to 2022 where they were paying out special dividends. They have not paid out a special dividend this time. In March, it was $1.10. In March, it was paid out in March. In June, they paid out $2.09. That's a double dividend from what they paid, $1.10. If you go back and you look at their previous dividends, they're still giving you more dividends. It might not be 11 cents because look at March of last year. It was a June of last year. It was a $7.38 dividend. It's a $2.09 dividend. Here's what I think about PXD though. I think PXD is going to be taken over by some other energy company, namely Exxon. We've talked about that before. So go and watch that video if you'd like to maybe get into the energy space. But I do think that those 2 videos, again, short form videos, I'm trying to do it about 1 stock per day. And I'll leave it to under 5 minutes. I call it a 1-minute stock analysis, but it is what it is. So SPY. Here we are in SPY, and you're still in. You had this button hook, but the algorithm hasn't gotten you out. With yesterday's rise in SPY, it kind of took a turn for the better. Right now, SPY opened up, and SPY is at, I want to say, 436, 435, right there, 435.10, 434. So it's kind of floundering around. I know in the past, and I think it's been a few weeks, but I looked at the weekly on SPY. And the weekly on SPY had a couple of these descending and ascending triangles, and I was trying to figure out where we were going. But it's clearly the ascending triangle, the upward direction. We've broken above that 420. And we talked about 420 being that resistance level. 420 is now your support. Old resistance becomes support. So if we're to pull back from 435, 420 would be the first support level that we would see. The second, the resistance level right now is probably in the neighborhood of 444, 445. So if you're looking from an overall standpoint, that's where I'd look. But SPY, it's clear. We're in this bull market. It's moving upward. You can't pull back. It's the most hated bull market since 2009. And on the YouTube, I went back and I looked at 2009 and I showed folks where it was. You can go back and if you want to watch the long form video, it's going to be in that one. But if you're interested in me doing that again, just hit up a comment on the newsletter, comment in Facebook. Just say, hey, look at 2009 versus today, and I'll do that on the charts for you tomorrow. TSLQ. This was one that I was scared to get into, And yesterday, I was like everybody else. I got busy, and I wanted to make sure that I had some protection. I got in at 33.70. I think it was 33.70. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. I wanted to make sure that I had some protection so that I didn't lose my profits. So if we go over, I'm going to move you over to Active Trader Pro real quick. And we're going to look at, there's Palantir at 44.70. Let's look at TSLQ. This is a short of Tesla. And TSLQ yesterday, the day range, today it's between 33.27 and 34. It's at its lows today. Just like every other day, it just moves down. But TSLQ, I got out. If you look at this particular area right here, and I will move this in a little bit, this is about where my stop loss, about 34.50 is where my stop loss kicked in. I'm glad I got out there. I'm glad I protected my profits. That's what you have to do when you have a trade and you may have a full-time job. Get the hell out and make sure you protect your profits. This was a trade for me. This wasn't a long-term hold. TSLQ is one of the shorting Tesla has made people poor. Don't short Tesla. That's the deal. So I just made sure that I protected my profits. I think it was like a couple $100. It wasn't much. It wasn't 10%. It might have been 2 or 3%, but I protected my profits. And that's important as a trader. You want to protect your profits. So let's talk about Tesla. Elon Musk is 52 today. Volvo announced yesterday, and this was where essentially what happened was around, I think it was around 11 or 12 o'clock. Volvo announced that they're going to the North America standard, which is the Tesla standard, and they partnered with Tesla. So that was news for Tesla to go up. Today, Tesla's up 1.7%. Do not short a stock that can go up on news without a stop loss. Elon is 52 today. I saw a history of how he started companies, all through his 30s and 20s, 30s and 40s. Unbelievable. The IPO of Tesla was on June 29th, 2010. The stock went through a 3-for-1 split in August 2022 and a 5-for-1 split in August 2020. The debut session of Tesla, it was $17 a share. With those adjusted splits, it would be $1.59. If you had invested $1,000 in Tesla at its IPO, that would be worth $157,365. I almost made a joke that it was $157 million, but I don't want to put, anybody in the hospital. But yeah, 15,637% gain over 13 years. That is enormous. It's incredible. Will it continue at that rate? Absolutely not. There is no way you can grow a company that's that big, that quickly. And if we look at yesterday's, I want to look at yesterday's heat map. I saved it. I will put this in the newsletter. In fact, I'm going to put this in the newsletter. Let me just make a note real quick. There we go. But take a look. I mean, Tesla 3.8%, Microsoft 1.2%, NVIDIA 3.08%. Yeah, this is a good example of the grade 8. And the grade 8 is Meta, 3.8% yesterday. Google was down because they're worried about AI, the cost of AI eating into their search, competition from AI eating into their research. Apple is up 1.51%. Again, it's up again today, and it's hitting new 52-week highs. Apple. NVIDIA up 3%. Look at the chip sector, all bright green. NXPI was up 4%. MCHP up 4%. This is how you use the heat map during the day. Is you pick this up. It's 15 minutes delayed, but you can see the runners in the S&P 500. And typically, they've all been up here. Amazon was up 1.45. Amazon, you buy it under 130. I don't care if it goes to 120. Add more. Amazon will be one of the winners. It's a long-term play. Netflix was up. Where is Netflix? I don't even see it in here. Netflix 0.27. entertainment. Netflix, I think it's a $500 stock. I think they continue to crack down on passwords. I think they continue to monetize their audience. I think it's good. Tesla, 3.8%. And finally, Microsoft, 1.82. That's the great 8. I will post that in the newsletter. That is the great 8. You're whether it's in an ETF, whether it's in a mutual fund, you have to have exposure to those 8 stocks in your portfolio. Chip stocks fell in the pre-market after the Wall Street Journal reported that the U.S. was considering new export restrictions to China. NVIDIA shares lost 4%, while AMD fell more than 3%. iShares ETF SOXX slid 1.5%. How do you want to play this? Well, short term, I think SOXS, which is up slightly today, $10.52. SOXS is the bear. It's the daily semiconductor bear, 3 times ETF. Do I expect this gap up here at 15 to be filled? Absolutely not. Chips are hot once again. So where do you want to go? You probably want to actually, with news like this, take the pullback on SOXL. Again, this gap right here at 19, I'd say you probably use 22 or 23, I would say. Look at this. I mean, $14 back here in May, and you got out with a 53% gain in here in June, and you could have gotten out with even more up here at 26. This is going back to 26. And it's probably in the near term that it's going back to 26. So take the opportunity, SOXL. If you want to play NVIDIA, and you want to look at NVIDIA 1.25%, or I'm sorry, NVDL, it's a 1.5%. John on the Facebook group, he just said, hey, thank you, Wall Street Journal. I just took a 3% cut. I got in. It's run, but the RSI is in no man's land at 47. The MACD is kind of just above. It's not crazy. It's not crazy above. It was crazy above back here in June 1st when the stock was trading at 77. But, you went all the way up to 88. It's not crazy right now. It wasn't crazy here where it was at 2, where it's above where the MACD where it was when it was trading at 55 and it went up to 88. So use your indicators. Understand that this volume right here will drive the price. The volume's going to come back. So this is just something that came in. So I'm going to write this down too. NVDL for the newsletter readers. Sherry mentioned I was listening to CNBC yesterday, and CNBC kind of listen, I had a lot of time. I was sitting with a sick dog who's got a back injury. So sitting there and listening to that wasn't a big deal. But MPW, this is a medical property trust. It's one of the largest, significant dividend. I will go over to FinViz and we will look at this. MPW has a 12.57% dividend. Let's take a look at the long term on this one, because you do have to know it is a falling knife. This one, and again, it's real estate. This is how bad real estate has been hit. This is a weekly. This is April 2022. If we pull this volume to, let's say this is a manual one, so I got to put it right there. We're going to pull this back to January 2022, when the market really started falling. And nobody liked medical properties because everybody was like, yeah, you're paying your dividend, but we're going to have a crisis, a real estate crisis. Interest rates are going up. So here's the thing. This one is at $9.07. Prior to this getting just beaten down, it was 22. At this price, the actual value of the assets, the properties that these guys own, it's worth getting into. And Sherry's right. MPW is a good one. Another one that was mentioned on, and let's go to the algorithm. This is what's interesting too. If you were to just buy and hold MPW over the last 2 years, you'd lose 54%. The algorithm kind of protects you on this one, and it only loses you 24%. Now, you had 28 positions. You only win 6% of the time. So there's not a lot of wins on this over the last 2 years, but you saw that chart since 2022. I mean, it's just straight down. So the algorithm here, 774 was the entry. 994 is 909 is where it's trading at now. Just got you out. It's going to get you back in. It's going to get you back in. That MACD is crossing up. So $9, I don't think it's a crazy play to play. And while you're waiting for it, they give you a 12% dividend. So I like that one. Sherry, great play. Another one that was mentioned, VNO, Vornado Realty Trust. And this is one that kind of the same chart. Here at 12, great buy in May. You're up at 16. 16 was the buy. You're at 17 right now. Now, if you want to find dividend REIT or REIT dividends that do, there's this article, dividenddetective.com, tutorial on how to use FinViz to find REITs. I will post a link to this in the newsletter. It's free. It goes over it. It gives you diversified lodging and retail. It gives you REITs to look at. I like that one. And I like that. I read it quickly. I do think it's valuable. So sign up for the newsletter. Let's see, Schwab. I think you can get into Schwab now pretty safely. Yes, we have banking crisis. Yes, it just crossed up at 55.22. I know we had this little downturn, 10%. I know I've been waiting for it to get down below 50 again to add more. I have a super small position in this. I think we're talking, less than $1,000. I don't even know. I was adding slightly just in case it went down. But I'm pretty sure that 55 right now, I think you got a $60 stock here. And I think it's continuing to move up. I think Schwab is going to continue to move up. Their earnings are coming up July 14th. I don't expect another kind of round of harsh, hey, Schwab's in danger. The deposits are in danger, blah, blah, blah. If you want to really gamble, DPST. I mean, DPST, let's see. It got you out here with a 3% loss. It's at 52. If you're in at 39, great trade. It doesn't have confirmation right now, but it's setting up that volume shelf right there down here between 50 and 54. So at 52, you're right in the middle. I do see the MACD kind of hovering. The RSI's at 41. Just be careful with this. Again, it's a triple levered regional bank index. Boyle. Let me just get my fingers on the right thing. Boyle, natural gas. This one kind of moved down a little bit yesterday. It's got that button hook. I wouldn't get in. I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that button hook there. It's got a gap down here between 54 and 55. Just, natural gas just isn't getting the love. In my mind, if you want to invest in natural gas, get a company like LNG. These guys will start selling cheap natural gas to the rest of the world. They just signed a contract with China. I continue to think that anything under 150 on this one, I think you'll do well at some point in time this year. Pins. In fact, Michael just popped into YouTube and said, hey, Pins hit your $27 price target. What do you do now? Do we hold or jump out? That's personal decision. I don't think that I can tell you exactly what to do. I know you should protect your profits. I know that the algorithm has you in. Personally, Michael, I can tell you what I do with Pinterest is I look at that 9-day and I say, wow, we're way over that 9-day. That 9-day to me says confirmation. Your RSI is at 76. Is 28 your top? Probably not. I mean, if we look at a weekly on this one, 28's not even, at the 200-day. The 200-day is still here at 36. You've got Elliott Management in this one. I think you have some pretty prudent management. So it depends if you're long-term. If you're short-term and you just bought here in May at the 21 rate and you want your 20%, get out. Because you can see right here, right where that VWAP line is at 29, it's not worth you holding on from 28 to 29 for the profit. But that might get you out a little soon. Again, it's very personal about when to take your profits. Do you get in or get out? I see it as having confirmation above that 9-day on the weekly. I'd stay in. But that's just me. And you know rule number 1, do not listen to a douche on the internet. But I had that in my notes to bring it up. Pinterest is just moving really, really well. A couple that I think you should keep your eye on. Taiwan Semiconductor. This one could go under 100. I think under 100 is a good price. You've got gaps all the way down on this. So this is crazy to think that this one will not come down. Now remember, chips are a sector that you need to keep an eye on, because just one piece of bad news brings this stuff down. 98 is this volume level. Let's pull this volume level back a little bit. I want to see when it started taking off here. Let's pull it back to, we'll pull it back to January. January here, if we pull it back, you can see that $98 price shelf that kind of built up here. If we drop below 98, I would say look out below, and you're probably coming down to the 95 region. But I don't think that it's a bad thing to get in at 95, because you know what? Look where you're really going to be trading at. Look at where that volume level really is. I mean, if we just pull it back here, look at the volume shelf. 114. I mean, that's a nice 10% move from where you are right now. So keep an eye on it. I don't think chips are done moving. Taiwan Semiconductor is in the overall portfolio. Remember, these guys are the leading manufacturer of chips. NVDA, NVIDIA. This one's going to move under 400. It's at 410. I think you get back to 400. Now, the extreme support is 360. I think that's the support level. If we get back to 360, back up the Brinks truck. I don't care about the valuation on this. They are sold out for years on their chips. These guys will continue. Now, mind you, Jensen Huang, who is the CEO, has been up on charges with the SEC about leading investors down the wrong path with earnings before. Maybe he hyped it up a little bit. If we go over here to FinViz and we look, I think he sold a bunch, if I'm not mistaken, too. Let's look at the insider sales. No, Jensen hasn't sold a bunch. He options exercised. He optioned exercised, but he hasn't sold a bunch. So, and that was back in November and December. He just option exercised them. So he's got that money sitting in his brokerage account. So I don't think he sold it, but I don't think 410. If you buy in here at 410, I think you're doing fine. Speaking of insider buys, Lucid yesterday. This was interesting. Now, Lucid stock, they talked about Aston Martin. We talked about the deal with Aston Martin yesterday. It was just released. And wait till you hear this one. The Saudis. Remember I said, the only way that this company actually, the stock makes money is if the Saudis actually buy it out. Well, the Saudis yesterday, scroll down on FinViz, they put $1.8 billion of buying shares yesterday. That's what drove this stock up. That's the volume level that you see. That was just released. They've been buying all the way through here. That's what's pushing this stock up, is to $6.10. The VWAP right now is about 685. I would still probably not trade this one. I don't think that these gaps are huge magnets. If you think it is, I mean, it's just a luxury vehicle. They're losing money. They don't have a way to really make money because I don't think that their cars are very good. They haven't switched to the Tesla standard. Remember, their CEO was the designer and the engineer behind the Model S and helped to grow Tesla. But he doesn't use Tesla stuff, Tesla's charging. So I just have a problem with somebody with, that kind of chip on their shoulder per se. By the way, we talked about Snowflake, buying Snowflake. That's up 7-8% right now. I don't know the news on it, but it's up 8%. I said buying it here at 170 was good. Your boy owns this one. I think around 180 is my average price. I'll continue to add to it. Felicia. And whenever, I see a Felicia, I always think of Ice-T. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. What do you think of Cintas, CTAS, and GWAS, Grenier? So Cintas is the uniform company. I mean, these guys just kind of print money. 471 was a buy-in on the algorithm. You've been up all the way here. You got this volume shelf building at about 482. You don't really have, are you hitting all-time highs? Let's see. Yeah, this is all-time highs. I mean, you know, a uniform company that's hitting all-time highs in that ascending wedge. Am I buying at all-time highs? Probably not. Let's look at FinViz to see what the, oh, come on. I'm not typing it in correctly. CTAS. The PE is 39, huge for a industrial company, enormous. Dividend 0.94, it's up 8% this year to date. Its average target price 506. 52-week range up to 497. You're trading at 487. I just, you know, that gap between 487 to 500, I think there's better places to put your money. You know, if you think that we're going to continue to go up and you know more about this company than I do, I just see it as pushing up against that. Industrials are good. I think the company's well run from what I know of it, but you've got a 35% range. So your 52-week low was 363. Great if you bought it back here in the October lows at 363. But, you know, who would have known that an industrial would move up that much? But you look at that against something like an NVIDIA, and you haven't doubled your money. So I'd say kind of stay away from those that are running high. GWAS, which is Grenier. Let's see. What is Grenier? Grenier is Granier. I don't see Granier. GWAS. And I don't see a GWAS. Felicia, you're going to have to tell me what that one was. I just don't see it on here. GW. And I don't see Granier. So I may be mistyping it. I may have mistyped it, but I know it was in a... Is it Granger? WW Granger? But I don't see GWAS on TrendSpider. Let me see if it's here. Granger, maybe? Maybe it's GWW. Maybe it's GWW. Granger, same thing. I mean, it's an industrial. I see it at 52-week highs. Same comment. It's just, you know, I don't see any insider trading. This one's up 39% year to date. You know, they're selling it. It's 1 million. This guy's selling at 232 here. Or I'm sorry, that's the cost. Yeah, 773. I mean, they're taking profits. It's at 52. They're taking profits. That would be my thing is, you know, this gap down here between 604 and 626, probably not coming into play. The great earnings, do they continue to run? I don't know. In my mind, I think there's other places that you could put your money, Felicia. I think it's just better. William on YouTube asked me to look at Generac. Generac is GNRC. I listened to their CEO a few weeks ago. I was impressed. I think they might be a really good turnaround story. And here's what you have to know. I mean, this one has been, we'll look at the algorithm right here. Right now, it looks a bit extended on the RSI at 75. The MACD is high. This has moved from 116, just 20 days ago, all the way up to 146. Part of this move is not necessarily from, oh my God, it's just a great company. Look at how low this has gotten. And if you go back to pre-pandemic, this was a $117 company, $117 per share. They have started to make the turnaround where they're continuing to make money, 63 cents per share. He expects higher earnings this time. The volume shelf here between 103 and 117 is huge. There is no volume shelf. If we pull this back to, we're going to pull this back to here. You can see the volume shelf right there at 119 is the biggest. It's building this volume shelf at 138, and that's going to take a while to build up. So I think your range on this one is between 123 and 137. I think you could safely buy in that range and then expect it to get to the 200-day, which is 212. William, I think it's a great trade. I think it's a beaten down company. I think they have good management. I think they have good products. I think these guys do really well. My parents, 55 and older community, they love Generac. I mean, they love freaking generators. Oh, we can't lose power for more than 5 minutes. We need the Generac to go on. My neighbor, I think he's got a Generac, natural gas. So I like the trade, but I do think you need to have it for long term, because if we go to a short term, if we go to 4 hours and we look at the algorithm, this one has run up quite a bit. So if you're buying here, I think you're looking long term. I'd rather see you wait. This gap right here yesterday between 132 and 134, I think you come back to that. I think you've covered a lot of these gaps. From a short-term standpoint, we can look at the gaps that are way back here. There's gaps all the way up, but I do think you come back to that 200-day on the long term. You can see that 50-day, that golden cross right there, which happened on June 5th, right around that 116 level. If you got in on that on the golden cross, if you had set up your trend spider just to tell you, hey, what stocks had a golden cross? Boom, Generac. Okay, I'm going to use that as a bullish signal to get in. Boom, you're in. Yeah. So Jackson from Instagram. Hey, Gary, I have a stock I would like you to take a look at. Potential on the AI train, which you guys know I love that AI train. GTLB, which is GitLab. As you may know, they're the premier place to find code. Absolutely. If you don't know about GitLab and you're not a coder, what coders do is they go through GitLab to get code. It's basically like the AI portion prior. It's people that write code, and you can go and grab the code, and you charge for the code and you pay for it. And it's a good repository. The premier place to find software development. It's run up a ton recently, but I think long-term they could license their data, which will be extremely valuable for the large language models. Not urgent, but I thought it could be an interesting one. Not currently profitable. And yeah, they're not profitable. This would be one that you probably would want to, in my mind, just taking a look at it here, I'm going to pull this back to this top gap right here. If we go back to February 2nd, where they were trading at 49, and that was a high, you can see the volume shelf is still down here at 34. The price is starting to build up, and you're starting to provide a little level of support here at 45. 49 might be a little bit extended to buy it right now. And he's right. Look how it's just trending downward, and then all of a sudden it just jumps up, and they're still not making money. GTLB. Let's look. They have a $7 billion market cap. They're losing $200 million, so they're not losing that much. But the forward PE is 1,536. That's just too high. Year to date, they're up 7%. Performance over 1 year, they're down 9%. The average target price is 55. They're trading at 48. I'd say if you want to bet on this one, wait. I'd wait for a better entry point. I just think that even that gap in the daily between 41 and 35, I think the high 30s, if you get this at the high 30s, look at the two gaps. I mean, between 41 and 39 on the way down, and then you gap on the way up. So I think those gaps tell me, look at the trend lines just down, lower high, and lower lows. So I think you're in a downward trend. I think the logic is right, but I think the actual stock is just not ready. Let's go over some scans. First one, DraftKings. I think this one is extended a little bit. I don't think I got out of this in December at like $11. So 25, I'm still the bitter old man that got out of this one. I didn't have a big position. It was big enough that I think it was a 5-figure loss for me because I bought in at around 20, sold at 11. It was just a write-off at that point. Should have held on, but I didn't. So 25.73 long term, it probably looks like a good one, But understand this is expensive. It's not at its 200 day. The 200 day is at 29. If you wanted to get in, I think for long term, you could be at a $30 stock. So 26 here is not horrible. It's got confirmation. You've been running up all the way. They're just losing money, and it costs a lot of money for these guys to actually acquire customers. And it's a competitive space. MPLX, which is part of our core portfolio and I own, which has a great dividend energy company. This is in a longward kind of uptrend, even short term here in an uptrend. It's an energy company. I would say that gap between 34.38 and 34.92 gets filled, and you're at 33.69. And you know what? While you're waiting for it to get filled, what is it? 8% dividend, 9% dividend, 9.2%. And this has actually just been paying out since the pandemic. So MPLX, Oxy. Ironically, Zephan asked about Oxy this morning. We looked at where Warren Buffett buys it, and he buys it, in the high 50s. That's where he's been buying it, low 60s. 60 is your price point here. I just don't know if we go back and we take a look at a long-term horizon of this. Pre-pandemic, right before the pandemic really took hold, this was a $45 stock. So I think you still have some danger in this one. The 50 days kind of just moving forward, just kind of, level. I think 54, 55 has put in a pretty good resistance level right there. You can see it on that downward wedge that we see. It's not a huge downward wedge. I just think you're doing fine if you buy this in the high 50s. Warren Buffett knows his stuff. Pepsi has a cross up. I've said Pepsi under 180, I think, is your price point on this one. I do think that you run up to this 190s again. It's a secondary cross up, which is ironic because 184 was the price. You're down at 183. It's kind of losing a little steam. So I own Pepsi. I own a pretty good position in it. Exxon, talked about Exxon versus PXD. I like PXD because I think it has more upside. 104.54. I think anything between 100 and 105, I think you're fine on. It provides a good dividend. They have earnings coming up mid-July. Looks like July 27th. I think you're fine on this one. One that I said buy under 40, and it dipped under 40, and it's up a little bit today. The buy at 41.38, I think you're fine buying it. Roblox, I think, continues to go, it's going to go up to this gap at 45. At some point, it will hit that gap at 45. So 41.92 is where it's trading right now. I don't think it's a horrible play. I think you'll be fine. Long term, you can just hold on to that one. Simon Property Group, which Kramer hates. Kramer said, get out of it. I was in a mall the other day and it was empty. We have a cross up here at 113. I think I was watching Kramer, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the month, and it might have even been June 1st, where I got the buy here at 103. Boom, 113. Yeah, I hate inverse always wins. This dude is so out of touch. Costco. I would hold off on Costco. Now, I know it has a secondary cross up here. It is still in the run. I don't know that you come back to 500. It's just extended. It does have a cross up on the algorithm, but it's just extended. XLP. What I want to do with this one had a cross up, and this is consumer staples. What I want to do is look at this one. You're in at 73.45, and then later, this is a secondary cross up, and it's down today. It's down 1%. This is one where I don't think that you get into, but if you want to get into it, just get under 200 day. If we look at a long-term chart of consumer staples, you're still well above your 200 day. I just don't think there's a compelling reason to buy this one. You know what does have a compelling reason? Sedge. I said Sedge under 300. You buy Sedge. It goes back to 300. This one is beaten down to 55. You've started your move upward. It's at 257. The RSI is super low back here where it was trading at what? 240? 234. The RSI was at 22. Yeah. Cross up 255. So if you got here at 230, 234 and you timed it perfectly, great. I'm waiting for it. It's got confirmation. I might buy this one today. Another one, and I have to start this list. I haven't started this list, but all the covered call ETFs, JEPI, JEPI. This is premium income. This is like an 11% dividend. Has a secondary cross up. If you got in here at 54.37, great. If you get in here at 54.79, hey, you're doing pretty well. I don't expect it to come back down here to 53, but if it does, you're still getting 11%. So for the entire year, you've kind of been between 50 and 55. It's at 55, 54.79. I think you're fine. Honeywell, XEL, Lucid, Applied Materials, Fortinet, FTNT. I know I have Palo Alto in the core portfolio. Fortinet's been a solid one too. Do I expect it to come down and fill this gap? Nope. Cybersecurity has been shown to be pretty recession-proof because people need to pay to get, cybersecurity. They have their earnings coming up on August 2nd. Mind you, this is the only cybersecurity company that is actually making money. The others are losing money. This has a market cap of $57 billion. Its PE is 60, forward PE of 42, but they are making money. It's up 50% year to date. Average target price is $74.65. It's trading at $73.49. I think it's a little extended. I'd rather see you in Palo Alto. Comcast, CMCSA, huge move up. Lowe's, huge cross up. Schwab, we talked about Schwab already. Okay. That's it. I'm cutting it short. If you want more analysis, subscribe to the newsletter. I'll send it out later today. Sponsors, if you go over here to Linktree /Daily Stock Pick, linktr.ee/Daily Stock Pick. That's where you have everything. You can get 25% off TrendSpider. You can get $20 off your visible phone service. Your first month is $5. It's nothing. I have the link to YouTube. I have the link to Spotify. The link to sign up for the newsletter. If you want to help me and Penny pay for her potential back surgery, gift me on Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App right there. You can support the podcast monthly or just subscribe on the newsletter. I am doing some paid content because there's been a lot of you that have paid for that newsletter. So I will continue that in like weekend kind of quote unquote series with newsletters on educational stuff. The first paid newsletter was my setup on TrendSpider right there. And that's a paid one. So you can see, again, one of the sponsors is TrendSpider. If you like my entry points here, if you like my scans, if you like all of the things that I kind of point out here and can see, get TrendSpider and get it yourself. I send you a nice welcome letter with everything. So, but yeah, you can get 25% off with the link below or the link tree, whatever you want. If you have any questions, hit me up. This is our Facebook group right there. It takes you right to the private Facebook group. That's my Twitter. That's my Instagram. There's on YouTube. Comment wherever. I kind of monitor them all. And yeah, it's a freaking full-time job of replying to you guys. So, yeah. Let me know what your thoughts are. I will see you guys tomorrow. And TSLQ is down at $32.99. So I was doing the right thing. Tesla is up. I mean, getting out with that stop loss yesterday saved me. Let's look at Palantir, PLTR, because that one ran up. Yeah, we're at 15.12. Great trade. Sherry, thank you so much. Yeah, Palantir 15.10. And it's shooting up even more. Should have added more. But, okay, take care. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay. I got some stuff to respond to you guys on. Oh. Hey, Brandon, I really appreciate that tip, by the way. Hopefully you got... And Michael, about pins, nobody ever went poor taking profits. So what I don't want you to do is take profits and then have it hit 30 and regret it. Because it's kind of like, I took profits on Tesla at 200. It's at 260 now. I got out too early. Am I regretting it? No, I got a profit. TSLQ, a good point is TSLQ yesterday. Here, I'll move you over to Fidelity. And you look at TSLQ. I didn't time it at the top. Pinterest is kind of the same thing. You got to learn to understand confirmation. And I include, if you want to, here, I use the 9-day for confirmation. And if you want to learn about confirmation, let's see. You know what? Here, go to the newsletter. And what is confirmation? 6:15 was the what is confirmation? Did I include the link to Charlie's stuff? No. I can link it. Let me go to Zip Trader YouTube. Come on. There we go. Videos. Playlist. Getting started. No, I don't want to play them all. Hold on. I'm going to go and look at the view. Okay, folks, so there's the saying that you can have the best shit in the world. The best shit. Better than everybody else. When to buy stocks here. You guys on YouTube will get this benefit here. Charlie does an incredible explanation. There's the link for you. And it's a 5-minute video. Well, what is it? Yeah, it's 14 minutes. It is a masterclass on when to enter. Now, what you have to discover is I think he uses a very short-term moving average. So, for instance, let's look at Apple. I use on my 4-hour, I will typically go from long-term to short-term. Skeeter, thanks so much. Yeah, hey, and Sherry should probably get the tips. Sherry and Brandon should get the tips for Palantir. They're the ones that got me in. But look at that 9-day, okay? My 9-day is that green line right there. And this is a great example right here. See how that red line right here on March 28th that's highlighted? Hold on. I got to move you back over here. Okay, we'll take Apple. The green line. Green line is my 9-day. I use that as confirmation no matter the time frame on the chart that I'm looking at. So right now I'm looking at my algorithm on a 9-day. If I wanted to get in to Apple, see the 153, how it's well above the 9-day there? That candle is well above that 9-day. It doesn't touch it at all. That 153, it goes down here. It never goes below the 9-day. And so I know, okay, I'm going to stay in. Then it goes below the 9-day. If I'm concerned about it and it's not a long-term hold, I get out. On a 4-hour, I would get out. If this was TSLQ, I'd be the hell out of this stock. It's Apple. I say, you know what? The next one, it kind of covers over. Then you have confirmation and you're off to the races. Then it loses it here. It's below its 9-day, but then it regains it the next time. So I typically play this 9-day as confirmation. And when it goes below, I make the determination, do I have to sell? We'll take a look at Pinterest just specifically for you. When do you want to sell? I think you use that 9-day. And look at where it is. That 9-day right now is at 25. You're trading at 27.92. There's no reason to sell for me. But just realize when you get back down to 25, you could be back down to, losing money. So in my mind with pins, because it's run up so much from the 21 to 27 level, I think you really, really want to put your stop losses. In my mind, I think you put your stop loss at about 26.50 right now. And if it goes down to 26.50, then you sell. because you still have this gap. See how it's gapped up? You have a gap between 26.77 and 27.20. So because it gapped up, you haven't fully covered this gap, and now the gap is below. So rather than being a magnet below, it's providing you a support level at 26.77. That would be my take on Pinterest. And I think, let me see. Did I already save this? Boom. 628. Yes, I did. Okay. We're going to quit Garage, man. Skeeter, if you're Joshua, thank you very much. You guys are awesome, man. And if Penny didn't have a back injury, I'd pick her up to say hi. But the little fucker has a back injury. So, let's see. I'm going to move you guys over to Fidelity. Look at, God. I mean, I really want to buy TSLQ again. But, Sam, I just went over DraftKings. I don't like it long term. I think there's better places to put your money. Sherry, remember, if you didn't take a loss, you can jump back in anytime. Don't be afraid to jump back in. Wow. I don't know that I like this new. Okay, but I do like this. Okay. We're going to put yeah, so here's the deal with the rules on buying back in and stuff. If it, and this goes for brokerage accounts. So for brokerage accounts, if you get out with a loss, it's called a watershed, and you're planning on using your stuff as I will say, so with brokerage, if you get out, so say it's a short-term gain. It's a short-term gain in brokerage, and you get out and you take the gain. There's no reason you can't jump back in and buy in. If it's a long-term, and you might want to Google this. Let's see. Google it because it does get into some specifics. But if it's a long-term gain and you're paying 15%, there may be let me see. Do I have to wait 30 days to buy back in on stock gains? The wash sale rule states that if an investment is sold at a loss and then repurchased within 30 days, the initial loss cannot be claimed for tax purposes. So wait 30 days after the sale date before repurchasing the same or similar investments. It is always possible to sell a stock for profit purposes, as the income tax department has you paying taxes on the profit you make. This is, as mentioned earlier, a capital gains tax. You can buy the same stock at any time, and this has no bearing on the sale you made for profit. So, Sherry, you're welcome. God, why is my hand so red there? The only way you can't buy back in is if you're writing that loss off. For gains, there's no reason you can't buy back in. So just be aware And here, this is what, if you want to look at it, this is what I Googled. And you can ask Bard too. That's what I Googled. But here, let's go to Bard. You know what? Here, I'm going to show you. We're going to switch back over. Let's go to Bard. Yes. Well, it's income. At that point, you're paying income tax on it. And it's at the highest level that you're paying for income. But 37% would absolutely cover it. And I think you're in California, so that includes state taxes too. Let me see. Here's what Bard has to say. Let's see if we get a hallucination here. Yes, you generally have to wait 30 days to buy back in on stock gains if you want to claim the loss on your taxes. That is because wash sales. The wash sale rule applies to both individual and retirement accounts. You have to be careful about retire. Well, I don't think that you take losses in retirement accounts, but the rule applies to all types of securities, including stocks and bonds. The rule does not apply to mutual funds or ETFs, as long as you sell all shares in the fund or ETF. That's just within mutual funds and ETFs. It does apply buying back in. So say you buy Palantir at 15 and you sell it at 14. That $1, and it's just one share. That $1 of capital of loss, if you buy back in, your actual purchase price would be, and you buy back in at 14, your purchase price would be $14.50 at that point, because your brokerage would take the $15 buy and the $14 buy. And you would that's what you would do. So hopefully that makes sense, Sherry. And I'll move you back over here, and we can watch TSLQ continue to fall, and me being happy that I got the hell out of that. 6/28/23 update, and I'm going to go over here. Episodes, and I have to look at Interact because I think I put up a poll yesterday on there. Copy, paste. Versus okay, and my notes. I'm going to, where are my notes? There we are. And I don't have. We're gonna put this up. Okay. Now, no. Let's see, full. I guess I can change it to HTML. We're gonna put next. Q&A. No. Add poll. Yes. No. Publish. Next, monetize. Insert ad break. One ad. Okay. Pre-roll. Done. And next. And I'm going to take this. Copy. And we're going to publish. Okay, now we're going to go over here, upload video. By the way, hit the thumbs up button. I don't think I told everybody that one. Okay, we're going to boom. And I am going to go to Canva. Ooh, maybe I should do a new. Let's see. We're going to use this one. And now I've got to go to my photos. Do I have... Oh, you know what? We're going to do this. Layer. Oh, we're going to bring this. Let's bring this to the front. Bring to front. There we go. Let's see. Okay, we're going to shrink this down. Oh, no, I want to shrink it down. And I'm going to text. We're going to add. move this to white, and we're going to say let's see. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing the 728, 628. 28, and I'm doing the thumbnail. And it's a penny thumbnail. Okay, channel. Whoa. What? Okay, hold on. Studio. Okay. Edit draft. And we're going to put okay. 628 pod, and we're gonna view episode details. Okay, and then we're gonna take this and we're gonna just copy and paste. Sorry, I'm doing this. Aw, I just got a photo of the kittens. My friend just got 2 baby kittens named Cosmo and Newman. And if you're Seinfeld folks, you know, hello Newman. Hello Newman. Oh, come on. Man, this takes forever. And we're going to take that out. Okay. And I'm going to put in the thumbnail. Green Gaming. Playlists. Daily podcast recordings. No, it's not made for kids. Let's hope this works. Next. Next. Publish. Two minutes left. Oh, this shit ain't gonna work. I bet I'm gonna have to do that again. I'm gonna have to do this again. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to do this again. Upload video. Select files. We'll use this one. And it's smart enough to know. EMA versus SMA. Let me look. Let me just make sure this uploads, D-Man. I'll show you where to look. Enjoy. Sherry, she will be fine. She will live. I haven't heard a peep out of her. She's in a crate next to me. Let's see your channel. Content. Boom, processing. So I can close that. And I'll close this. Let me see real quick. I love that. Should I have shorted Tesla from yesterday? Got 8 votes. And most people say no. 18 votes no. They say no. I shouldn't have shorted it. Let's see. 4 days left on this one. Overwhelmingly, people want video uploads on Spotify. I don't know why. Okay. I'm going to close that. Close this. And I'll move you back to... Boy, look at TSLQ. Whew. Okay. Let me look. Sony. Let's look at Sony for you. Yeah, I mean, you got gaps up. Like I said, Sony, the problem with Sony is going to be your volume. That's the biggest issue with Sony. You just have gaps all over the place. It doesn't look like a stock that, in my trading preference, I would want. It's not smooth. It's jerky. It doesn't have huge volatility. But Sony, D-Man, I know you like it. I find myself switching EMA compared to ML. What is one most from everyone, or is it different based on the stock being looked at? It's like it bounces off those two at different points. Okay, so if you just Google EMA versus SMA. Fidelity will kind of tell you. This Investopedia article, I'm going to link this. This tells you what you want to know. There's two types of moving average, as EMA and SMA. If you're talking about time frames on EMA and SMA, time frames. So let's take it, and I can't look at this Sony chart. It just makes my eyes bleed. But like Apple, okay? Here's my setup. I've got the 9-day, the 21-day, the 50-day, and the 200-day. And I'd go into more detail, except I kind of did that as the paid content. My TrendSpider setup, a detailed look. So I want to make sure that I don't necessarily give away for free what the paid people have paid for. And so I got to be careful of that one. But that essentially it's a 9, 21, 50, and 200. And 200 looks at long term. I mean, this isn't giving away anything that's paid. 200 is long term. And so when you're looking at long term, I don't care what time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at a 1-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, 200 days long term. 50-day midterm. You're just looking at midterm. What's the midterm trend? And again, I don't care if you're looking at a 5-minute, 1 minute, a weekly, a monthly. It's just midterm. And then 21-day, same thing. It's shorter term, but if you're 21 days above your 50-day and you're 50 days above your 200-day, you're in an upward trend. And if you have confirmation over your 9-day, you're in an upward trend. And so learning moving averages and understanding what's a good one, this is why it takes time. And D-Man, I know you're spending the time doing it, but it takes, I would say it took me years to actually understand. And I didn't have this set up for years. This is my TrendSpider setup. I was using Active Trader Pro for a good amount of time. I think I used Thinkorswim before Active Trader Pro. God, and look at Mara. Oof. And NVIDIA's coming back. John, NVDL. Look at NVDL today. Look at this comeback. Look at that, 78, all the way up to 82. You're almost where you closed yesterday on NVDL. So, okay. I got to find a stock to buy today. Shit, maybe NVDL is the one. Palantir's already taken off. AMD is back. CCL, I mean, I got to put that in tomorrow's. Let's see. Thursday. No. This is what I'm looking at, by the way. Remember how I said any reaction in the market is an overreaction? And that even though they lost money, Carnival Cruise Line's earnings were good. If you had bought at 13 when it dipped down to 13, you're at 17 right now. You're going to 18 or 19. I'm telling you, you're going to 18 or 19. Yeah, 50 and 200 are pretty standard. The 50 and the 200. And that article tells you that, D-man. Go to Investopedia. Google, go to Bard. Here, we'll go to Bard. Let's see. What moving average lines do most traders use? Let's see. Yeah. The most commonly used moving averages traders are the 50, 100, and 200 day. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Remember, D-Man, my name is Gary, not Google. But I got to find a stock to buy. Here's another one. SOFI. Look at SOFI. I said when it dipped down here to the sevens, get it. I thought it was going to be a $10 stock. It's $9 today. Fubo, let me see. Fubo's not beaten down enough. And it's got me out. You know what? I'm going to look at here. This is a good one to look at. So let's go to the market scanner. And I'm going to go to my 65-minute algo. And I'm going to scan the core portfolio and see what's in a 65-minute buy. Meta. Boeing. Ooh, Boeing looks like it's coming back. NVIDIA. Moderna. VOO. XOM. Microsoft. God, that one's just coming back. XLY. I don't want to buy that. Apple. QCLN. Oh, you know what I was going to buy? Sedge. That's what I'm going to buy today. Solar Edge. Let me go grab my laptop. That's what I'm going to buy. I'm buying Sedge. Good girls. Bum, bum, bum. I'm buying Sedge because this one you can see that yellow line is 300. I'm gonna buy it. Let me see. So far, it's got some really good confirmation. Okay, let's put in Sedge. Jeez, I'm up 0.61. Sedge. Generac ran up. I know. Skeeter, and that's why I think SOFI might be a good one, but I'm scared of the news. I think I'm gonna buy Sedge at 256. The volume looks good. Let's see. Let's look at the 65 minute. And it's in the 65 minute, I think. 247. God, I wish I would have gotten it at 247. 247. 240. It's at 257. I think I'm gonna put in a buy at 256.82. No. I want to say... See, it's losing confirmation, but I don't want to sit here and wait all day. I think I'm going to say... What is it? Let me look it real quick. SEDG. I almost want to buy N phase because N phase have been beaten down even more. Let me see who's got a bigger PE. N phase has smaller. Let me see where N phase is on the chart. 65 minute. It's a little bit up there. It's under its 200 day. This one's well under its 200 day. I think I'm going to buy it at 257.24. 255. I'm overthinking it. No. I don't want that. Okay. Got the order in. Got the order in. Okay. I'm going to say... Is that? Savvy trader. Go into Savvy Trader and update this. Boom. Okay. Put it in. Okay. You're complicating stuff, D-man. You're definitely overthinking. And don't think on only one time frame. I use 5 minute. I use 65 minute. I use 4 hour. I use daily. I use weekly. And then I use monthly. Like for instance, here, I'll show you. Sedge. I mean, I just traded it. Here's a 5 minute of Sedge. And I said it's losing confirmation, so I don't want to buy it right now. So I put in a price right at this 21 day, 257. I'm waiting for it to come down. I think I put in at 257.50. Hasn't filled yet. I'll just wait. If it doesn't hit, don't mind it. You know why? Because you look at the 65 minute, and I should have gotten in at 247.50. So if I can't get in at my price, which is right at about this top right here of that volume shelf, then I don't want it. And so then we go to the 4 hour, and you run the 4 hour algorithm on it, and it says buy it at 255.21. I can't get it at that price right now. So I'm going to try and get it as close to that price as I can. Then I go to the daily, and I say, I still have confirmation above, I'm starting to get confirmation above that 9 day. So I broke this trend down to 269. My stop on this one is going to be 240. If I get to that 240 and it's still moving down, I'll stop it out there. But then you go to the weekly and you look at how far this one, right at that 200 day. And I just did all of this while trading on my computer. That 200 day right there to determine a price. I don't care if I get down to that 200 day at 237 price. Again, I make it determine at 240. Do I really want to get out? But that 9 day and the 21 are moving down, and that 50 day is kind of moving forward. But your volume shelf is up here at 293, almost 300. There you go. I just took you through my buy process. And I put in an order for $4,000 for 200 shares. So it's just over $4,000, almost $5,000. I think it may be over $5,000, to be honest. I didn't look at the total. It's 200 shares. Exit plan is over 300. At 240, I will make a determination if I want to get out, and that's based on this weekly. That 200 day right there. At 240, I will make the determination, but that's my determining factor as to when I want to get out. The upside is 300. And it's because, look at this, if you just look at this daily, let's go to the 4 hour. We'll just run the 4 hour here because I think I have the line in the 4 hour. There. That line right there, that 300. Yeah, sell process 300, and at 240, you have to do it before you buy it. D-man, you can't do it while you're in it. You have to, at 240, I will make the determination. Do I want to add more and double down, or do I want to get out? But I don't have to make that decision until 240. Again, a good company with good products, with good earnings, with good management, then you don't necessarily have to worry about it. The only thing that I worry about Sedge is getting back up there is the PE. The PE at 74, forward PE at 19. They're down 8% year to date. The average target price is 361, but that's a little bit dated. 375 is where these guys. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can determine whichever line you want, but I don't, it's different for every stock. Like Apple, I don't sell. When do I get in on Apple? I get in on Apple whenever I feel like it. Whenever I have extra money and I just want to put it in there, I just put it into Apple. Amazon, it's about 130, and I'm just going to hold Amazon. That grade 8, the grade 8 that I have, I just buy them. So, okay, the dogs are up. I got to get out of here. You guys have a great day. I will talk to you guys later. And thank you, everybody who tipped, and I appreciate